JobStream family. It's Jess here, and I'm with my co-founder and business partner, Adonis McReynolds. And today we have another exciting video because we had our first LinkedIn post go viral, and we're very excited to expand on that and talk a little bit more about why it went viral, because it is controversial, and we did get quite a few interesting comments, both for and against the post. So we did want to talk more about that and just kind of set the stage of what we meant by the post. I mean, it was actually a post written by Adonis, so we're really excited, and I'm going to let him explain further.
Yeah, well, thank you for handing that off, Jess. And, viral posts are always fun. You like to see what people are commenting and saying. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so people can even see what we're referencing here, because if you don't even know what the initial post was, there really isn't much of a point in talking about it, right? So hang on just a second. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that way people can see exactly what we're talking about here and referencing. So posted this right before the 4th of July. Okay, it was the weekend. Things were going very well for us and still are. I wanted to post this tip because I've been seeing this going around on LinkedIn, and we're still seeing this today. So we're gonna get into it. So the post says, "I think this job search tip may go unappreciated. Perhaps it will even anger some people. But speaking the truth for the benefit of others is far more important than biting my tongue for fear of being unpopular or even hated. So here we go. Posting or commenting constantly here on LinkedIn, a public platform, about how companies need to get it together, posting demands that companies change their hiring processes, or complaining publicly about being passed up in hiring rounds for reasons such as overqualification, underqualification, or just flat out wanting to go with someone who demands less money. This kind of social media activity does not increase your chances of receiving employment, does not make employers more warm and fuzzy about hiring you, does not give a good impression of your character, and may even damage an otherwise good perception of you, does not magically make companies change their mind about hiring the people they want to hire, does not spread good energy to other applicants on LinkedIn. Rather, it just promotes negativity and a victim's mindset. In fact, many executives, upon seeing this kind of stuff, are repulsed by this behavior and may even refuse to consider you based on these public outbursts alone. So my advice, stop it. Stop whining and complaining on the very platform recruiters and executives utilize to find and consider you. This is the drive of the post. This is what I intended to really communicate here, because I think it's really hurting candidates' chances of getting hired. Finishing the post here, this is one of the top ways to lose potential fans and destroy your hopes of getting employed. If you want to complain privately, which I don't recommend personally because it doesn't promote positivity, which is desperately needed in a job search, that's fine. But you have to be cognizant that people do see you when you are throwing a LinkedIn tantrum about someone's hiring practices. The only way to win in a market like this is to think outside of the box, to get creative, to stop expecting executives to pander to you, and rather figure out how you can provide value to what they are building. You have to find executives you have alignment with and get clever. If you are lacking in knowledge of how to stand out, I offer free advice. Reach out to me via direct message or connect, and I will be happy to help. Remember, you are just one yes away from that next great opportunity. Do not let hundreds of no's erase that reality. The night is always darkest just before the dawn. Now, regarding reactions, there was 223 reactions, 199 comments, and still pending more comments and reactions. We had a little over 37,600 impressions on this post, and the comments were a riot. We had people ranging from like, "Thank you for posting this, congrats on any success you're having, thanks for sharing," to people who just basically said, "You know what, dude, the only reason you're posting something like this is because you're in that, very favorable position of being employed," which a lot of people don't know that I'm self-employed. I'm not employed by anybody. We even had an executive inside of the post, or an executive comment on the post saying that this is exactly what he thinks when he's going on LinkedIn and making these judgments about whether or not he's going to bring someone on. So we had way more people, I think, that agreed. I'd say about 60 to 65% of people agreed with the content of this post, while others, I think, fundamentally misunderstood it and believed that we were saying we agreed with employers' hiring practices and ultimately believed that people just need to fall in line and just not, basically just keep applying and keep smiling and just keep hoping that things are going to change, right? So this video is created not only to really kind of get at the heart of what we're trying to communicate here, but also to to really just reinforce this idea that, when it comes to the outcome you're trying to accomplish, what is complaining going to do, right? What is publicly posting on LinkedIn about hiring practices or things along those lines? What is it going to accomplish, right? But the first thing I wanted to address, and before I get there, perhaps Jess, did you want to share your thoughts on this post?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I loved it. I think it's the perfect type of content because it is a little bit controversial and that increases engagement and goes viral, but it's very valuable and it is offering a really important opinion that people should follow. And I do think that the people who were commenting against it didn't understand, and that's what we will get into. There's a difference. You're allowed to talk about your experiences, and you're allowed to talk about your experiences publicly as well, and that's honestly encouraged in this day and age. But it's just the way that you write about it, the way that you frame it. So if there's like a challenge that you're having in the market and you're talking about the challenge and how you're going to overcome it, that's awesome. That's great. You could say, wow, this hiring process was super challenging. XYZ was very difficult, but I'm going to do ABC to get over that challenge, to learn from this, to improve the next time. And that's like positive. That's what people want to see. Like, oh, okay, cool. You're offering advice on how to like move forward. You're offering a solution. But if you're coming on just to say like, this is horrible, everything sucks, I'm the victim, I'll never get hired because everyone is wrong except me, that is the problem. That's the real issue. So we're not saying don't post at all. We're not saying you're not allowed to share your real and true experiences, but it's just the way you frame it. So you always want to try to frame something in a more positive light, talk about the problems, but then talk about what you're doing to overcome the problems instead of just saying problem, my life sucks. That's
Yeah.
what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, positivity attracts positivity, and there were even some comments that made such statements, and I think that's important, right? Like, the more positive you are, the more likely it is that you're going to attract positive people. Negative people tend to attract negative people, and tend to attract people that are just like looking to take advantage. So don't be that person. Be somebody who's constantly thinking about ways that you can step up your game, ways that you can improve, ways that you can maybe navigate around some of the issues that you're seeing in the job market. And there are issues. I want to make sure I'm very clear here. We do not approve of, number one, posting fake jobs. That's something that we've been seeing a lot of, something we've mentioned in our past videos. That's a real issue that we're seeing today, and we don't recommend or approve of or condone these businesses' practices in that regard. We think that that's a very scandalous thing to do. And, we think that such people should have to probably face penalties for something like this. I think that, for posting fake jobs, there should be some type of penalty instituted. I'm not the government. I don't control these things, but something should be done if like we're starting to see a trend of just fake jobs being produced, because it is a waste of people's time. It's deflating when you find out that these jobs aren't real. And so there shouldn't be any like fake job postings. Additionally, we don't believe in 8 interviews to get the job, right? Because if you don't end up getting the job, it's like dating somebody for 6 years to find out that they're not interested in marrying you. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, all right, well, like, what's the point, right? Like, why are we going on all these interviews? Are we actually serious about moving forward and committing to this opportunity? Or, are we just basically trying to impress investors or do something else that's a little less sincere, right? We don't agree with this concept that, people who are seasoned in their career can't be superstars. We definitely agree that there's ageism out there, that politics plays a huge part in, a decision that an employer will make. Sometimes, inevitably, you will be passed over for posting your political views online. And this is why, again, we recommend not doing that. So it's not that we just don't recommend complaining and that's all we don't recommend. We don't recommend doing anything that could jeopardize you being considered for an ideal opportunity. And sometimes what falls into that category is talking about religious things. Sometimes that means talking about political things. Sometimes it's just sharing way too much information, right? Information that no one else needs to know, something that could maybe cause someone to think badly of you. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you need to sit around worrying about what everyone thinks about you. I'm not saying that. You can post those things. I'm not saying you can't. What I'm saying is that the reality of life, the reality of the corporate world, right, is that people will see things that you post and make decisions as to whether or not they want that in their company, right? So at the end of the day, it is all choice and preference. All of these people have the free will to choose. Do I want to hire Adonis? Do I want to hire Jess? And what criteria makes me believe that they're a good fit for my culture, for my organization? If I'm posting like, something crazy about Joe Biden or crazy about Trump or whatever, like whatever side I'm on, right? If I'm alienating 50% or more potentially of people that would potentially hire me, right? So that's really, really important to point out, is that perception, public perception, is very, very crucial, because every single executive looks at public profiles, tries to track a person down, understand how they are, because they're bringing that, whatever it is, whatever the person likes to do, whatever that person like thinks about, that's coming into an organization. And so they have to keep that in mind when they're making those hiring decisions. Any thoughts on that, Jess?
Yeah, I think you said it like super well, and it just also depends exactly what you want to do. Sometimes it might be beneficial for you, like if you are a tattoo artist and you want to be a tattoo artist for the rest of your life and you have a whole bunch of face tattoos, that's not a problem. That's great. Awesome. You have a great portfolio, you're showing your work. If you have a whole bunch of face tattoos and you want to work in some like really uptight corporate office, it's going to be more of a problem. So just think about like who you are as a person, what your goals are, what your long-term goals are, and then think, will this post hurt or help my long-term goals? Because it's okay to be polarizing. It's okay to be political if that's the type of career you're looking for, and if that's what makes you happy, because you do want to work with like-minded people. So if you are like a far right person and you're going to work in a far left organization, you're going to be miserable. So it's okay to like find your tribe and stuff like that, but you just have to understand that like if you ever change your mind, it could become problematic down the road, because if you have a huge past of like crazy political posts on one side and now all of a sudden you're trying to find a completely different career, there is real repercussion. So just think about like that before you post. Doesn't mean you can't post, doesn't mean you're not allowed to like find your tribe and like-minded people, and that's great. But there are going to be sometimes repercussions and sometimes consequences to that. So just think about it before you post and think about how to word it. So it doesn't mean you can't post. Like I said before, complaining just for complaining's sake is bad. But saying this was a problem, this is a challenge, and this is how I'm going to overcome it, that's fine. That's great, because it shows you as resourceful, it shows you as smart, and you're offering value and solutions to people. And it's okay that there are problems and challenges. Not everything is perfect all the time, and we are allowed to call it out. Just be mindful of how you are wording that.
Yeah, very well said. And I think that's just about it. That just about sums it up, ladies and gentlemen. We're, coming to the end of this video. We just really want to emphasize here that everything that you do, people pay attention to. Every communication you put out there online, people are looking at how you present yourself. It's very important that if you really want an opportunity to work for these companies, right, then you got to do what it takes. And that sometimes that means biting your tongue on certain things. I'd say that there are specific times when public complaints or public accusations of things are a good thing, right? Especially if it's helping others. I think it has to be an others-minded approach, though. If you're going to complain publicly or say something publicly, sometimes you might, realize, hey, a company is duping people, it's doing something illegal, they're doing, like maybe they are posting fake jobs, etc. I'd say it's not at all a bad thing. In fact, it's an honorable thing to post online and say, hey, LinkedIn network, just wanted you to be aware, this company is fraudulent. This company is taking people's money. This company is doing X, Y, Z, and it's really like, illegal, or this is going on and they're just like abusing people. I think that bringing public awareness to true crime and shams that are going on in LinkedIn or any type of business format, I think that's important. I did that a couple of different times where, I came out of companies and I was just like, dude, this is like crazy. This is bootleg what they're doing. And I would advise anyone to stay far away because they're going to get scammed too. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think, in terms of what we're doing here at JobStream AI, we're here to help you find companies that are not scammers, right? If you need help with figuring out how to stand out, figuring out how to get, your ideal role, and it's been really tough going for you, please reach out to us. You can connect with us on LinkedIn, DM us, watch our videos on YouTube, visit our website, jobstreamai.com, and we're looking forward to seeing you on the other side.